Wastelanders. Let's talk Wastelanders build. Specifically, what I like to do as far as the build goes. Now, this is a very generalized exploration build is what I'm going to call it. So we'll start down strength. So traveling pharmacy for chems, if you're like me. You like to carry a lot of chems. I carry all the drugs, like normally 200 or 300 stems at a time, if not a little bit more than that even. Then we have the 3 heavy gunner skills, all 3, because I do prefer the Gatling right now. Landing with Bandolier, which is almost necessity, but not quite. So on to Perception for glow sight for those big crits, especially since we still do a bunch of nuke zones. I do like good doggy for the dog food, just personal preference. There's a couple others that also make sense to take that are food relative, but that's my favorite by far. Charisma. We have Travel Agent, which I feel like doesn't help much, but it's a noticeable difference into Tenderizer, which is target receives 7% more damage for 10 seconds, which is decent. It does help a lot. Intelligence. Some of these are interchangeable. There's a little bit of leeway here. So first aid. So this is why my stim packs last so long. I could change that if I want to use my stim packs quicker, that's for sure. They restore 45% more, which is huge. Pharmacist 2 for Radaway, making it makes it 60% more effective, which right now with Radiation Rumble, I like to go down to gather the ore, so that is insurmountable. Instead of 300, it heals 480 for the full-size Radaway, which is amazing. Nerd Rage. Still experimenting with this one. It's not exactly the build style that I like, but it has come in handy. Hitting that 20% health mark on some fights has saved me. I don't min-max it and stay at the 20%, so that's why I might change it out. We have Stabilize, because I do spend 80% of my time in Power Armor. When I'm just doing some basic dailies or exploration, I won't be in Power Armor, especially with the weight difference of the backpack versus the T51. And then we have Batteries Included, which reduces energy ammo weight by 90%. That does include fusion cores. And then on to Agility and Through Hiker for 90% reduction on food and drink. Covert Op for 2.5 times sneak attacks, works even in Power Armor. Born Survivor, I like this instead of the other things out there. Like there's different armor pieces that have the bonus. That 20% hit is huge for me. Now if I really want to capitalize on the Nerd Rage, I would get rid of this. But for now, I like it. It keeps me alive, and it works for me. It works for my build style. And then Adrenaline 5, which really works well for me. Like I said, I don't necessarily min-max, but with mutations, we'll get to those in a second, they do help a lot. Then we have Bloody Mass for the 15% damage bonus. Class Freak, you need it for all your mutations. And then Starch Genes, never take it off, you'll lose everything. So that is the basics of my build. I don't have all mutations. I have the ones that I prefer. So we have Adrenal Reaction, Grounded, Healing Factor, Marsupial, Scaly Skin, and Speed Demon. There's one other I think that I still want, but for now this one's great. Works very well for me. No complaints. Works flawlessly for me. I'm very, very happy with that, with those specifically, and with the Class Freak it is, it is that much better. But again, that is my basic build. It's a mix of mid-range damage. Example, for glowing things, I'll hit them up to 1,000. Average crits on enemies, I would say 200 to 400. Crouched, 600 to 800, depending. SBQ, I do not hit that hard. I'll hit for 20 to 60, depending on the build. But overall, I would say I'm very happy with this build. And it works well for my playstyle, which is I like to carry a lot. So as you can see, my inventory is just full of junk, especially in the aid category. I'm just full of everything. I got all sorts of chems, disease cures coming out my ears, just everything. I never get rid of this stuff. It just stays here. I try to deal with the Rad-X on occasion, but overall everything just stays here, minus the spoiled things, of course. But there's a lot here, especially stem packs. Almost 400 stem packs. I really need to cut that down a bit because that's 40 pounds. It's gotten a little bit out of hand, I'll admit that. I will admit it's gotten a little bit out of hand on the stem packs since Wastelanders started. And then there's things through here. It's just stuff I don't keep up with. I'm really bad at keeping up with a lot of this stuff. So it works for me to have those skills. Like I said, I do realize that it's not a massive min-max build, but it works for me. Keeps me alive 99% of the time. I'm happy with how the build flows. So, but that is my basic Wastelanders exploration build. And you can change out the big guns for the combat rifle, etc. as you need to, the rifle skills, which I know you'll have to juggle some points around to do that. But again, it works for me. It's my play style. So I think if you guys, I know there's some out there like me, so if you guys like this, let me know in the comments. But until then, take care and enjoy Wastelanders.